Don't they just fry you Friday? Wow! Welcome to the 10 with the EV Café. 30 minutes of what's been happening in sustainable transport. Wonderfully supported by those nice people at Drax Electric Vehicles. And today we have lots of in and out, it would appear. We have Sarah, who's dotting in and out. We have a special guest, Chief Exec of Leasing.com, Mike Fazal. He'll be joining us a little bit later. Sarah's back. We've got Paul in the house. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. After a busy week and charging around the countryside and meeting wonderful people. It's been good.
I saw what you did there, charging around the country. And Sam, how are you?
Also been charging around the countryside. Been at home for less than a day this week. So, yeah, nice to be back.
Yes, indeed. Sleeping in your own bed and all that stuff. And Sarah, don't know if you can hear us, Flower, but are you all right? Yes, lovely. Great. Well, grab a cuppa and plug into what's happening in clean transport this week. And coming up, the world's richest 1% burn through their annual carbon budget in just 10 days. Sam, we're coming to you for that one. Because he's one of the 1%
He's probably
world's
done
richest.
it. Yes, exactly.
Anyway, driver concerns about EV reliability are unfounded, according to data from the AA. Pablo, we are coming to you for that. Real-world EV charging data exposes gaps in public infrastructure. Well, that's not a massive surprise, and we might go to Sarah for that. If not, we might go to Sam, and if not, we might go to Paul, and if not, I might even have an opinion. And then, finally,
Steady.
I know, and then retreading is the answer to UK's waste tyre problem, says Continental. Interesting. Anyway, but first, the EV Cafe commercial clap, where we highlight innovation and new things in our industry.
The commercial clap from the EV Cafe.
Innovation applauded.
And first up, massive clap for Pohang University of Science and Technology, or POSTECH as it's known, because they've discovered that in batteries there's little holes, microscopic holes, and these holes mean that batteries can get quite warm. And what they've discovered is if they plug those holes with aluminium, they use less lithium, which is cool, but also that they get past this high battery temperature issue called thermal runaway. It's new technology, and what it means is that we can use less precious resources and keep our batteries cooler. I like that. That's good. Next up, a Greater Cambridge Renewable Energy Scheme now enables the next generation of electric bin lorries. Construction of the Waterbeach Renewable Energy Network, commonly known as REN, is well underway, bringing together a 1 megawatt solar system with 2 megawatt hour battery storage to meet more than half of the energy needs to power the depot and its fleet of new electric waste vehicles. Why does that matter? Well, it does because they're being self-sufficient. But it also matters because our webinar on Wednesday focuses very much on this subject, the power of the depot. Wednesday the 21st at 12 noon. Paul, you're frothing for that one?
Oh, absolutely. There is so much going on in this sector around the power of the depot. In talking to operators prior to getting to this webinar where we have, we have Sarah Gray from the wonderful Dawson Group. We also have, I think, Jeremy coming to us from Power, and we have one other person whose name has escaped me completely. Help me.
I wish I could.
Great.
But anyway.
Good. But speaking to the operators is really really important, because they are really excited where they are able to electrify their depots. We haven't been able to get one of them on. They're busy people. But they are excited about the opportunity to use solar, battery energy storage, and then charge their vehicles on site overnight to be able to carry out a day's work. So the power of the depot is going to be very exciting.
12 noon, Wednesday the 21st. Be there, or indeed be a square. And next up, the Scottish Government has confirmed the non-domestic rates relief for EV charge points. The Scottish Government's confirmed it's providing 10 years of 100% relief from non-domestic rates for businesses. Vicky Reid of Charge UK said we now need the UK government to address the factors impacting EV charging costs in its forthcoming review to ensure charging an EV is affordable for all and the transition stays on track. So essentially Scotland and England now have the same non-domestic rates. Relief for businesses for putting in charging infrastructure. I'm pleased. It's marvellous. Now then, let's get on with the news, shall we? And don't forget, we got Mike Fazal coming from leasing.com. But first up, the richest 1%. Sam, richest 1%. Saw your ears prick up. Of the world's population have already exhausted their annual carbon budget just 10 days into the year, according to a new analysis by Oxfam. This alarming milestone, dubbed Pollutocrat Day by Oxfam, catchy, isn't it? Let's be honest, Pollutocrat. Anyway, underscores how climate breakdown is disproportionately driven by the super rich, whose emissions far exceed those of ordinary people, bit like Paul. In stark contrast, it would take someone from the poorest half of the global population nearly 3 years to use up their share of the annual global carbon budget. To meet the vital goal of keeping global warming to 1.5 degrees C, the richest 1% need to cut their emissions, get this, by 97% by 2030.
Wow.
I know. Oxfam's calling on the Chancellor to increase taxes on climate polluting extreme wealth, such as Sam's private jet, his super yacht, and to raise the much needed funds to tackle the climate crisis in a way that targets those most responsible and those who can most afford to pay. Oxfam have calculated that fair taxes on private jets and super yachts in the UK could cost Sam £2 billion in 2026 to help generate vital funds for climate action. Sam, you must be gutted.
No, well, I'm enjoying the joke, John, because actually I don't do a lot of travelling. I don't do long haul flights. And I'm quite pleased to say that whilst I'm obviously not part of the richest 1%, I do make a real conscious effort to not try to be one of those in what we're all blessed to be in a pretty high percentage, I suspect. And transport and travel, whether it's to be, it's all well and good highlighting private jets and super yachts, but the reality is that, travel is what's causing such a tremendous amount of emissions, and it is the minority that is contributing to the majority's air pollution. So, it's worthwhile highlighting it, and I'd almost avoid the super yacht element because that almost distances it from us mere mortals. But the reality is, there's an awful lot of people doing an awful lot of travelling and creating a huge amount of transport emissions. And, it's good that it's highlighted. But what I would like to not see is the implication that that's them, not us, because we're all responsible for
Absolutely.
that.
Let's see if we can get the remarkable happen. Paul, do you agree with Sam that this is actually a much more mundane matter to deal with, and that this is just a headline to grab the attention, but the reality is that the focus needs to be on businesses, getting people into electric vans, electric trucks, doing the simple things that can be within our control?
We should never forget the day job. At the end of the day, transport is a significant impact from the UK. In fact, it's the highest, isn't it? What?
Sorry. It's Rob Dunstan's comment. It's just tickled me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
We'll get to Rob Dunstan's tickling in a minute.
Yes, anyway. It is really important that we focus on transport. It is the highest sector of emissions and also the most relevant because it's impacting human health on the streets of the UK. So it is a really important focus area. But we shouldn't forget that the super rich are making these impacts. And look, I'm interested that Oxfam have picked up this and have chosen to arguably target the very people that might give them lots of money. Don't know, but yeah, it's an interesting turn of events from Oxfam, I have to say. There we go.
Yeah, I think what I take from it is 1, Sam's got soggy socks, and 2, we all have a part to play. Now then, let's get on with the shout outs, and I've got to say, first up, thank you to Madame Le Bonbon this morning, who sent me a note at 9 a.m, a DM, saying she was otherwise engaged, but she will catch up later on with the recording. So thank you for that. Let's go to the shout-outs. She still wasn't the first one in the house. Steve Ward, 7:31. Good morning, all. Steve, well done. Number 1, as usual. Good effort, my friend. James, he's the Screenwash King. He's saying, morning all, funner folks, and good morning to you. We need an arc. Now, how would this arc be powered, dear chap? I do wonder. Let's find out from you.
Had no engine or sails or anything, according to the books, the pictures that I had in my Sunday school Bible.
Indeed, and having studied the Bible a little more in your later years, Paul, what's your guess as to how that was powered? Just water power? It just moved where the waves went?
No, it just floated.
Just bobbed.
Is from what I understood. Yeah, no emissions were there, other than all the animals that were on the boat.
Methane powered, a bit like yourself. Right, Stuart Humphrey, one day closer to the weekend. You're darn tootin', my friend. Darryl Sharp, good morning. 2 down. That, I think he means weeks, and 50 to go. Well, thanks for that thought. DEV Chakravarti in the house. Morning, Funner Friday, you damn straight. It's Barbara and Simon. They're here joining us from the YouTube. I know, in sunny Surrey. Well, lovely to have you here. Mike Seymour. He sees everything. Never mind Seymour. Good morning, my friend. Lovely to see you here. Michael Barton from glorious Bristol. EV Beano. He's in sunny Dorset. Has everybody got sun? It's -1 in Scotland and I'm Baltic. Teresa Swift. Oh, bless her. She's been back on LinkedIn this week. Looks lots more friendly. She's had a digital break. It's nice to have you back. Belinda, you're here. Hello, darling. Nice to see you. Paul Shearer, Barnfather. It's showtime! You damn straight. Leo Pickford. Hello. Craig Starr. Good to see you, my friend. Rob Dustin. Stop going on about his socks. Darren and Vona.
Good spot, though. It's a really good spot. I'm gonna have to be a lot more careful these days now that my camera points into the room.
Yeah, put your leather chaps away. Darren and Vona, very excited to join today. I always have meetings that clash. Darren, it's lovely to have you here on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for joining us. Mark Smith, MBA. Bonjour, bonjour, my friend. LinkedIn user. Is it him? Is it?
Is it Peter?
Is it?
Is it the Heath?
Is it the Heath? He's got nice teeth. Lovely to have you here. We've done the Jamie Fretwell, all 19'12" of him. He's here. Lovely to have you. Tony
Grows every week. 27 foot next week.
Great to have you here. Stop it. Ben Mohide. Hello, my friend. Blue skies in beautiful Somerset. Jim Blair from Arnold's Clark, employer of my son.
Oh.
Now there's a twist. Indeed. He sold his first Polestar a couple of weeks ago. Absolutely thrilled for Logan. Well done, my friend. Gavin Duffy. Morning, folks. Morning, Gavin. Leon Gomez. Morning, all. Lloyd Allen. 6.5 out of 10, but warmed by seeing you all. Buddy, if you need anything, do let us know. Oh, my lordy. Sarah Kennel, 3 out of 10 today. Right, you need to jump on the old DMs, my friend, and let us know what's going on. Ian Mayhew, he's late and hungover on a school night. You're brave. What else we got? Ben McDonald. To the richest 1%, you need to have assets circa of 1 million USD.
Is that all?
Yeah, I saw
I've
somewhere.
got that in my drawer.
To be classed as rich, you now need to have 27 times your annual spend, apparently. So I heard this week. I did the numbers. I'm not. Peter Lever, better late than never. Absolutely. Or is it better late than neither? If you're Peter Lever, does never become neither? I don't know.
Well, maybe he's Peter Lever.
This is what goes on in my head. Liz Allen, how are you diddling? I got it. It was good. Liz Allen, how are you diddling? Now there's a thought-provoking question and so many responses, most of them unbroadcastable. Chris Demetriou is right about Sockgate. Gavin Duffy, he's talking about poop. Recycle the poop from all the animals into methane. We don't want your poop chat
We were
here.
talking about the Ark at the time, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's probably topical.
Not Sam Socks. Matt Lang, hello. Great to have you here. Wilds of Norfolk. Cup of coffee, but no charge points for miles and miles. Meanwhile, in Suffolk, you've got loads, my friend. Oh, nobody likes a boaster, but you got a right to boast. Josh S. Mysterious. Who is
Spencer?
Josh S?
Spencer?
That's not the truck
daft
man.
The truck.
Wow. Lovely to have you here. And Sarah Kennels explained. Sarah Kennels explained her 3 out of 10. My electric toothbrush is dead. It's raining and I have no milk. And I'm just being dramatic. Well, there's a shocker. Alex Latimer, lovely to have you here. Fire alarm went off. And he's now throwing out after 20 minutes in the car park. Right, that's it. 10:15. Thank you all for joining us. Utterly fabulous. Now, we had hoped to bring you Mike Fazal, but he's not joined us yet. But we will crack on with the news and move on to our second story. Almost half of consumers, 44%, are concerned about the risks of breakdown or roadside repairs when considering switching to an electric vehicle. The findings from an Auto Trader and AA survey of more than 2,000 drivers reveal. Oh, now Mike Fazal is here. We'll
come to him in a minute. Yes.
We'll come to him in a minute. Indeed, we'll let him settle. 56% express anxiety about the reliability of electric vehicles. In addition, women were slightly more likely to be concerned, 46% versus 41% for men. However, their fears are largely unfounded. New data provided to The Facts, this report from the AA, reveals that EVs are more likely to be successfully repaired at the roadside than petrol or diesel cars, with a repair rate of almost 89% versus 87.5% for internal combustion engines. Similarly, despite a third of consumers expressing concern about battery health, data from the AA reveals that the 12-volt battery in an ICE car is more likely reason for a call-out than the battery of an electric vehicle. Surveys support this position, consistently showing that more than 60% of fleets believe electric vehicles are more reliable than ICE counterparts. Pablo, your thoughts?
Well, do you know what? I had the delight of joining the AA yesterday, spending some time with Kirsty and Clive, two of our favourite people, and exploring just the world of the AA and the information and insight that they get. They get just unrivaled insight into the way that these vehicles run and operate and can give us real confidence. And I think this exactly should give us confidence. I've had a couple of call outs, one on my electric van and one on my electric car. Both needed, well, one needed a bit of, it was a 12-volt battery, funnily enough, there we go. And the second one was a warranty issue relating to the 12-volt battery. So I'm in that majority of 12-volt battery issues because, you know, these are the things. And they're not big things, so they were relatively easily resolved. And so the AA are absolutely spot on. And I think it's these guys that, and to be a little bit cheesy for those of you in the know, to give confidence to drivers today and in the future. And that's what they're doing. They're always ahead, you know.
Oh, indeed. And Sam, have you had many breakdowns in your EV?
No, I haven't. I don't think I've ever had one, actually. And given how many hundreds of thousands of miles I've now driven, that's testament to it as well. Not to mention, actually, all of the vans I used to own in central London. You know, we had very, very few breakdowns. We did millions of miles, you know, and a handful of issues. Your watch is ringing, John. Just FYI.
Indeed, yes, it's a garage. Don't worry, and it genuinely is a garage.
Yeah,
telling
Brilliant.
you your EV's fixed.
The one thing I would say about this article, though, is what I would have a plea of is that those that make comparisons at any point to an electric vehicle and a mobile phone, please don't. Because so we have too many times where I think people's perception of electric vehicles is predicated on the performance of their mobile phone battery. And those two things are so very different that using examples that combine the two, sometimes there's a relevance to it. But the reality is, I think I think we should all make sure that we distance ourselves from those two bits of technology. So it's another reason to, 12-volt batteries is often the failure of all vehicles. Mobile phone batteries are not the same as the ones in your car. They behave completely differently, and the ones in your car are far more protected and looked after than those of your mobile phone. So I think it's really I'm keen to make sure that people appreciate that. Don't bucket all the battery technology into one and assume that they'll all perform the same, because evidently they do not.
Quite right. Now then, he's here. It's Mike Fazal from leasing.com. He is in the house. Let's bring him in. There he is. Hello, Mike. How are you?
I'm very well, and a belated Happy New Year to you all.
And to you, sir. Now then, you've been very, very busy and have come up with a new report on leasing in 2025. Why?
Well, we first started it actually in 2024 because we get asked about our data set all the time, as you can imagine. Is it an indication of the marketplace? And we felt as if we needed to share that information because we were being continually asked for it. So we decided to actually put it into a publication. We saw a strong response to that in 2024. We felt last year we were a bit late to the market in terms of sharing that because we didn't really think about it until the back end of January. So what we want to do is we were straight out of the blocks this year. As soon as we had that data from December and year to date, we got that published. So yeah, we've got it shared with you. We issued that to a number of, I'd say, industry experts, got great feedback, and the response has been really positive.
Yeah, well, if it's all right with you, we're going to whack that onto our website that people can download it, they can find it, and they can get access to this brilliant report. And what it shows is that vehicle brands, car and van, are under pressure. They've lost nearly 8% of their market share, the legacy brands that we're also so used to, because of new entrants like JQ and Chinese brands. Do you think this is a permanent end to brand loyalty in the UK, and should big manufacturers be worried?
Well, certainly 2025 was extraordinary in that respect. As you said, 8% loss from the more traditional brands. JQ went from being virtually unknown to the second most inquired vehicle in the year from a standing start, which is just incredible. It's just never happened before. I wouldn't say loyalty has disappeared. I think it's just shifted. I think drivers are now looking for not so much for a badge. I think they're looking for value, particularly in relation to specification, tech, range, what they actually can get hold of in terms of, is the vehicle available? Do I need to order? That's become a thing now. A significant volume of our inquiries are focused on in-stock vehicles. Nearly 80% of all inquiries are based on, is it available now?
Yeah.
And if a brand gives you more kit for less money, well, consumers are interested. So are big manufacturers, and should they be worried? I think to some extent, yes, but it's not irreversible. I think they've got huge strength. The major brands have very strong dealer networks. They've got servicing infrastructure. They've got brand trust, but they've got to compete harder, especially on electrification. And there's this thing I refer to as tech for price ratio. The landscape's changed, and it's changed really, really fast. And people need to be aware of what are you getting for the money. And Absolutely. People are now researching that. They've got the ability to do that online. And if you can see that all of those things that you'd normally have to have an option for are now included, will people then engage?
Yeah. There's a really interesting thing within the report. I read it through yesterday, and it's showing a huge shift in how leases operate. So people are now looking for 24-month leases, and they're paying up to 12 months up front to keep the costs down. What other changes do we think we might see? Because this is moving into the sort of subscription model area. What are you forecasting will be the future for leasing?
It's certainly the opposite of what we've seen historically. People would normally want to minimize that initial outlay and spread the cost. That has flipped. People are now prepared to put bigger amounts down and look to reduce their monthly outgoings. Now, I do wonder whether that's partly as a result of people coming out of owned vehicles. They have an amount of money to play with, and they go, actually, I've got this amount of money. I'm going to stick it straight into a lease, and I'm only now paying £100, £150, £200 a month, which for some people is the cost of a mobile phone. I know it's just been mentioned on the chat earlier, but some people are prepared to pay £100 for a new mobile phone. You can now get, we had the Puma electric last year that was £110, £115 a month, which is just, an incredible deal. So are we moving to a subscription model? I don't believe so, but I think the behavior is similar in that people are looking to have a consistent cost. They want stability in that cost structure, and they're prepared to put some amount down to secure that. And for many people, I now think this is just a different form of ownership. Now, clearly leasing is not ownership, but their thought processes are that this is a form of ownership. I just want to minimize my cost for doing so.
Mike, it's a brilliant, brilliant report. We'll be making it available on our website. And of course, if you're looking for a lease on a vehicle, hit up the EV Café and the leasing.com partnership, where you can find all of the electric vehicles that your heart could desire and get a great deal. Mike Frizzell, thank you so much for joining us. Great report.
Thanks,
and we'll
Mike.
see you soon. Cheers, buddy.
See you later, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Right, okay. 10:24, 2 stories to go. Gaps in public charging infrastructure risk driving up costs for electric vehicle drivers, with many having to rely on expensive rapid or ultra-rapid chargers. Analysis of real-world charging data from the Motability Scheme public charging app shows drivers frequently charging at higher price networks. From January 1st to December the 1st, its customers paid an average of 74 pence per kilowatt hour. The most used operator averaged 86 pence per kilowatt hour, followed by 78 pence per kilowatt hour and 83 pence per kilowatt hour. That's despite its research also showing that cost was the most important factor for disabled drivers on the Motability Scheme, being responsible for 48% of their charging choice. It found that a quarter of sessions took place on slow and fast, cheaper chargers, compared to 75% on rapid and ultra rapid. It's interesting, Sam, isn't it? This thing where cost is everything, but people choose to use those networks which are rapid and ultra rapid. The report suggests that it's because of a lack of destination charging, the slower charging. I'm not so sure. I think people are time poor. They want to fire in and get what's convenient to them. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree actually, and I also don't particularly like using the phrases expensive and cheaper. This is something I'm stealing from Sarah Sloman actually, because it's not more expensive, it's higher cost, and it's higher cost because it costs so much money to put this in, and also to retain it with standing charges that have gone up exponentially, etc., etc., etc. We talked about before, so. It's good that we keep this on the news. It's good that we keep talking about the disparity between domestic commercial depot and public charging. But there will always be a convenience factor, which increases the overall cost because it costs a lot more money to build this stuff in the places where people want it when they're on their long journeys. So there will always be a disparity, but it's too far. It's too big at the moment. But don't shoot the messages. Don't shoot the chargement operators all the time for being expensive. It's not that we're expensive. It's just that it costs a huge amount of money to put this stuff in the ground, and our investors need a return.
Understood. What I find challenging, Paul, is the disparity between the most popular operator at 86 pence and the average, which is 74, some 12 pence per kilowatt hour cheaper. Should there be some levelling off of the amount that can be charged, or do we just let the market take care of it for businesses?
I'm kind of in that latter world. What we saw, and it's a very isolated example, but what we saw was Checkley Wood, which we know from AW Group, is wind powered. So it's got a turbine on site. The energy is going directly through the chargers there, but they charge 39 pence per kilowatt hour. That pretty much ended the operation of another hub not too very far away and sent their utilisation through the floor. Now, I'm not saying that is going to be achievable across the piece, and I saw Sam's response. We're giving an isolated example, but it's not as isolated as it used to be, because we now know, like First Bus are opening up their depots at 39 pence. We know that Mylance are at 40 pence. We know others are in that 40 to 50 mark. I think the market will address those challenges. Now, there are lots of different operating models and lots of different elements to that, and different avenues and different customer use cases, but the market, I think, will solve it, and I think we'll see consolidation. You can't operate with 50 or 60 different suppliers across the UK alone for too much longer, and I think we will see them combine over the time, and we'll get down to a few, and the price will be easier to manage.
Standard economics. It's what tends to happen in markets. Finally, it's 10:28. We're going to get there. Continental is calling for operators to embrace retreading to help manage the number of waste tyres generated by fleets each year. It says that a lack of awareness around the used tyre disposal process is resulting in retread-suitable carcasses going to waste. Some operators may also be foregoing a financial rebate by returning their used tyres to manufacturers. In a Continental Commission survey of more than 700 UK-based fleets, more than a quarter didn't know if they had an agreed disposal process for their used truck and bus tyres. An agreed tyre disposal programme with a manufacturer, retail or specialist firm not only supports the retreading ecosystem, but it helps maximise recycling and reduce waste. And in some cases, tyres are illegally dumped. The activity saw thousands of discarded tyres recovered from an estuary in South Wales on the River Ogmore, where it meets the Bristol Channel. And let's be honest, with tyres, we do need to think more about the circular economy, don't we? Do you get it? Tyres, circular economy. I write these myself, you know. We haven't got time for comments. Let's just move on. And listen, if you've got any clean transport PR and news stories you'd like us to cover, please send them to us at hello@evcafe.org. Sam, Paul, thank you both very much. Mike Fazal was absolutely superb. And Sarah, you were brilliant just by being here. Thank you so much. Until next Friday, it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from them. This has been an EV Cafe production. Other sustainability news services are indeed available. But this is just fun. EV Café is truly blessed to be partnered with the AA, Webfleet, Europcar, Iveco, Utility Line, Schneider Electric, EV Blocks, AW Energy, CPD Bodies and True Charge. Thank you, Mike Seymour. We are the EV Café, supporting the transition to clean transport, supported by Drax Electric Vehicles. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend, whatever you're up to. And we'll see you next Friday. Until then, bye.
Bye.
Sam